Hey guys, it's Josh from Gym Direct, and today we're chatting with Jennifer McDonald, the Anytime Fitness franchise manager since 2012. We're chatting fitness, nutrition, mindset, and all about the industry as a whole. This is Behind the Brand. My name's Josh from Gym Direct, and today I'm with Jenny McDonald from Anytime Fitness Engadine. Jenny, thanks so much for spending time with us today. Basically, wanted to start in the beginning for you. So what got you into the health and fitness industry that eventually led you to running this Anytime Fitness franchise?
Okay, well, probably being a very active person my whole life and being in the gym scene myself from as a 16-year-old kid, it was always part of my life. I met my husband. He was a PE teacher that ended up becoming a qualified strength and conditioning coach that found himself not just in the gym scene, but then with professional rugby league players and Aussie rules.
AFL?
No,
rugby league?
This is rugby union.
Yeah, okay, rugby union. Okay,
rugby union.
Sure.
So I met Pete in my very first gym as a young person, which was down in Sylvania. And going on from there, he stayed in that industry. We bought a franchise, so I got pretty comfortable running a business, got pretty comfortable being in a space where I was out of my comfort zone. And the business of going into the gym was, I suppose, towards the end of Pete's career, where we were deciding what to do. And I said, what about a gym? Why don't we open a gym? We'd always trained in gyms. I'd been very active in that space. He had all of the knowledge. I got qualified, and we just started looking at the options of what do we do. So looked at lots of different brands. I suppose what ended up selling us and us going with Anytime Fitness is we loved the quality of the equipment. We loved the franchisors. We loved the freedom that they gave us in terms of how we could run our gyms. But back in those days, you were told find a 300 square metre space, and it was basically you set and forget.
Right.
But as you can see, and probably from this gym itself, where that has gone to and where the gyms are now, and even how this gym's set out, it's not just, you have PTs, you have group classes, so we have evolved massively in my 12-year tenure here.
Yeah, for sure. So I love the evolution of it, because I guess in an industry that's completely saturated, let's be honest, in Engadine we've seen that gyms have come and gone. How have you managed to keep Anytime Fitness up to date with trends and basically still going in this market today?
Well, I suppose too, being a really passionate athlete myself, I've always played netball at a high level, triathlon. I've got my kids are now in this industry, so being on the cutting edge has always been something I suppose prided myself on. Like, never just happy to be a mainstream Anytime Fitness gym. And what we do in here in terms of our classes and getting groups into the Sutherland to Surf, getting groups into the High Rocks comp that's coming up in a few weeks, and putting on group fitness training sessions for these is probably a little out of the box for an Anytime Fitness, but I think that's me. I grew up in the aerobics era, razzle dazzle, fabulous. So for me to have an Anytime and have a free weights, cardio gear, it made really important sense to me with my knowledge of group training, and seeing that's where now the trends are going, with what was 4 or 5 gyms in Engadine when we opened to now I think we're about our 10th gym's about to open.
Right. Jeez.
And that's actual gyms, not as opposed to Pilates studios, yoga studios, and outdoor PT groups and group boot camps.
Yeah, it's super competitive, and I love what you've talked about, that you wanted to go like the Sutherland to Surf that's coming up, the High Rocks, which is a booming movement at the moment. From that sort of area, is that creating culture for you? So I know, obviously, being a business owner, you have PTs that come in as well. How important is it that you foster a good community and culture within the gym to be able to create those events that you guys go out and do?
Well, firstly, I suppose the consistency of this gym, I suppose, has probably been myself. I've been in here pretty much every day for the last 12 years. So I think people walk into Engadine, Anytime Fitness, and they go, oh, hi Jen. So I think that has kind of set this platform and base of you always have this consistent person who greets you every day when you walk in here. In terms of then where we've grown into these events, I suppose we've built community over the years and loyalty and evolving out of the space. Even introducing people to things that they've never been involved in. So many people now do triathlons because I've started doing brick sessions in here as one of my classes. We've got groups swimming. The High Rocks I went and attended last year, and I've gone, let's get this going. So I've got a pretty loyal community here, and everyone I think thrives off my energy. I'm 57, I'm still 21. I've still got more energy than too many people I know, and I think the energy of what I'm always looking to kind of provide for everyone else's experience is, I think, very much appreciated.
I love hearing that. So what does a typical day look like for yourself? So we've spoken about you as the business owner. What does a typical day from the time you get up to pretty much when the head hits the pillow at night, what does that look like?
Alarm goes off at 3:30. Up Adam here by 4:35, usually setting up a class, and if I'm not taking the class, I've written the class, so I do all the program for all the group training. I run PT, I oversee the PTs, that pretty much takes me up to my early part of the morning, and then I know the most important thing for me is to make sure then I get my training in. So while it's great giving all of this to everyone else, if I don't get my fix,
of course,
and I suppose, go okay in the space that I am in terms of triathlon and, like I said, this High Rocks type of thing. So I'm pretty competitive and pretty driven to train hard myself. So I get my fix and then I come back into the office at around 11, open up, and then it's all about everyone else again.
Right, so it's a very selfless job, and I think that's what people sometimes don't realise when they come into it, that it is going to be a lot of energy out.
Yes.
There's not going to be much that's coming in. So on regards to, I guess, your day-to-day in training, is, I guess, in the scope we're in at the moment with mental health, it's huge at the moment. Is training also a factor with that regarding mental health for you?
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. When you, I suppose, devote so much time of your life into your business, if I don't, like I said, get that hit, I flounder. Yep. So I suppose I'm very empathetic to anyone who, when they come in here, when I'm signing them up, talk about their mental health. So I'm very tapped into those people instantly, and I suppose I am also always very aware of, are they coming, are they here, are they, because I just know how that, when you're in a good headspace, and you're training, you're pretty invincible.
For sure. Is it something that, I guess, when I speak to most gym owners, they can sometimes struggle to balance I'm the hero of the gym, I'm the owner, I need to be bulletproof, but at the end of the day, like, you're a mum, you're a business owner, is there any adversities that can sometimes come up in your personal life that can affect the way you run the business, or do you try and separate them and go, that's I'm a mum, that's there, and I'm a business owner, that's there? Do you struggle with that balance?
I have, yes, at different times. I'm a grandma too.
Yeah, okay. 21 years of age.
Yeah,
so
I know, I'm very young.
Yeah.
But I suppose the bonus for me is I don't feel that my time in here is always taking away from my family, probably because they share this passion with me. I suppose Pete and I, being in the fitness industry, it was inevitable that our kids would follow us in here. I suppose my friends that I'm most close to are people in this industry as well. So my kids are pretty understanding when the gym does come first at times, but I suppose as I've got older, and probably after, as we spoke a couple of years ago, going through cancer, that moment where you went, okay, important to look at my life and make some restructuring, which I have done.
So you mentioned the cancer, was that?
Yeah, I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it was just after COVID. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I had long COVID, and after, I think it was probably suffering it for 6 to 8 weeks, I decided I might go and see a doctor because I was struggling to breathe when I was swimming. He sent me off for a chest x-ray. Chest x-ray escalated to a CT scan. CT scan was straight to the haematologist in hospital that day. So I had this massive thing growing in the middle of my chest cavity. It was pushing my lungs and was putting pressure on a couple of the blood vessels, one that leads to my brain to my heart and one to my arm. So they got me in as quickly as possible and started me on chemo within the 12 days I was in hospital for. So it was massive.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. Especially like you look at the time, like I always like talking to gym owners because I was a PT during that time and it was tough, but I didn't have overheads. I didn't have staff. I didn't have, a full, gym that I had to look after. I think, do you look at that time now for yourself and go, okay, well, I've overcome cancer. We went through possibly the worst time that this entire globe will go through in our generation or our time. Yeah. Do you look at that and use that when times do get tough and go, no, I can handle this?
Absolutely. Yeah. The old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, has probably never rung more true with me of late. But COVID was tough. And again, being one of those people who is tapped into others, as I am, I think the most difficult thing for me was being around the Engadine community and people just come and go, oh my God, I'm struggling. So I could see the impact of the gym not being available to members was really difficult for them. Because this is where people come to deload, de-stress, and that, like we had a stint, I think 3.5 months and then 3 months, or other way around, and people were in good places. So I started doing some boot camp stuff outside and got a few little things going once we were in a position to do that, just to keep some people in good places that need it. We were kind of handing out equipment so people could take stuff home, just to keep up their mental health, really. The cancer was a bit of a shock, but I don't know. I don't know if it's stupidity or think I'm superwoman sometimes. I just never really, I just said, I've just got to get through it. I've got to get whatever has to be done and train someone to run the gym while I'm not here, and what days I can get here I can, and make sure my kids are not worrying about me, and get back and get to training so I can get back and do another triathlon. It was stupid.
It's just that attitude. So it's like that high level attitude as well. So I mean, I guess
never a victim.
Of course, no, and that's the best way to be, which is kind of leading me into my next sort of funny question. You've been in the industry a long time. What's the silliest trend you've seen? Okay. Is it a certain type of training? Is it someone doing like squats on a BOSU wall with 100 kilos on their back? Is there something that you've seen where you're like, not in your gym obviously, but on social media where you're like, that's a bit of a red flag? I probably
would have to go back to my very inception of this industry when I was, I think, 16, training down in Sylvania. And you're just captivated by the trainers, and we were all in G-string leotards and leg warmers and all the fabulous stuff of the late 80s. And like everyone else, I got sucked into aerobics. Some of the silly things we used to do, and looking at the trainers thinking, I'm going to look like that if I keep this up. And I remember one day I decided I'm going to see where they go after the classes, because we just did, that's all we did. And I watched them go up the stairs, and I looked in, and all the trainers were all lifting weights.
Yeah.
That's why you look like that. That's why I'm never going to, doing grapevines is never going to give me a body like that. Yeah. So while it was fun and it was movement, it was probably a turning point for me that made me then understand that there's far more to this.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's where my passion really started. I kind of got into weights and
now you're here, franchise owner. So I do have to ask, so obviously I was doing a bit of research on the relationship between Gym Direct and yourself. So you've been purchasing from us since 2019, which is a long time, and we appreciate that. Yeah. What sort of kept you coming back to Gym Direct? Well, is it the equipment? Is it the customer service? What's sort of been your experience?
I'll start with you.
Yeah, okay, appreciate it, thank you.
Number one, the location and convenience for us.
Yep.
Being a franchise where we're given a list of what we can have, pretty much I can get everything else from you. I love that you're nice and convenient. I can jump online, I can give you a phone, ring up and ask you questions, and drive down and put it in the back of my car and bring it back up here. So it's just, I suppose, I'm a loyal person, and when you find a company that provides everything you need, it's just a no-brainer. So yeah, started with you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I guess I'll lead into the next question. What's something about coming into the fitness industry that you didn't expect it to be like? Was it the people? Is it the stigma around sort of, you know, the industry as a whole?
I think it was, I suppose, before we opened this, there was a bit of a thing around Engadine that gyms are for wankers.
Yep.
And it was, I suppose, then became...
We can cut that out, can't we? No, I'm kidding.
But
yeah.
I loved that I was in a position where I could go, all right, I'm going to create a gym where, being a mother of 3 girls, that every girl can feel really confident to come in here, walk into the weights, walk up to a guy and say, how many sets have you got in the squat rack? I wanted to build a gym that had a community, that where no matter who you were, no matter how old you were, no matter what you looked like, no matter what gear you were wearing, you felt really that you belonged straight away. So I think I touched on consistency. I think sometimes when you know every person who's signed up, you know their story, you know the fears, you saw them that very first day and understood from that moment what they were feeling, and just nurturing them through and bringing them into a place where they just go and say, how many sets to go on that squat rack? So I think girl power has supposed been my motto. Yep. Because when your girls are confident, your girls feel safe, they feel respected, your gym thrives, because I think that sets the tone, and I think the boys then respect and understand, and I think you find this beautiful culture. We've, as of 2012, we're allowed to have over 18s. I forget how many years ago now, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, we were allowed to have 16 and 17-year-olds. As of last year, we were allowed to have 14 and 15-year-olds. So we've gone through lots of hurdles and lots of things that we've had to change and adjust to accommodate these young ones. But even seeing these now 14-year-old young local boys coming in who are footy players, and watching them finding this gym as their new home. And they're all coming up here at the moment as school holiday boys, ride up on their scooters, put their bikes in. They have to come in and check in with me because they can't have access, because they're not allowed to have 24-hour. They have to come in and say hello. And just now finding this whole new generation that's kind of underpinning what we already have. So I love the fact that we're constantly finding a new era of Anytime Fitness member. It's really exciting.
It definitely is. So it kind of leads me into that sort of next question, is that where do you sort of see it going? Because I know obviously, you know, when I was growing up, it was all about don't do weights, it's going to stunt your growth, wait till you're 16 or 15 at the time. But obviously as research has come out now, it's not like that. It doesn't really affect it. No. So are you finding that it could get to a stage where that age will keep going lower, obviously within reason? Do you find that, you know, the next 5-10 years the age can drop within reason?
Yeah.
Or
I think 14 is probably a good age. Yep. I suppose too, you've got equipment in here that if you're not mature enough and you haven't had anyone take the time to teach you how to do things properly, which we pride ourselves on, anything lower than that, I don't know if this is the right environment yet. But I could change my mind. At the moment, we're just getting used to 14 and 15-year-olds and kind of, I suppose, making sure they're safe, they're educated. We've got the parents on board, and they've come and had a look, and they trust me. That's really important, that there's this trust with the parents and with their kids here, and they're being properly supervised. So I'm not too sure if we'd go any lower, if that will be the case. But in terms of, I suppose, the changes in training in the gym, these young boys are coming in, yes, and they're lifting weights because their focus is footy. But yeah, there's such a cross section of training styles, and I suppose we've just touched on triathlon and high rocks, and you can see the trend at the moment is this hybrid training. So again, me, can't help myself, I have to always be in that space because I can't let.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
In every way. So yeah, making sure we've got lots of things on offer, but we know who we are. We're consistent. We're always got our members back. We're always checking in on them, and just trying to keep the environment fun.
Right, it's important, especially coming into it, especially if you're dealing with some demons outside of here, to come in here and know that it's going to be lighthearted it's important.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
When you look at, I suppose, what Anytime Fitness can offer, how is it different? Why would I come here as opposed to going to another gym? What makes Anytime Fitness different and special?
Okay. Well, I know a lot of gyms are now 24/7. That was probably one of our, I suppose, big selling points back in
it got
2012.
me in the day, so
yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate that, yeah.
The fact that your membership gives you reciprocal access everywhere, so you've got access to over 5,500 gyms worldwide. There's 8 of us in the Shire. There's 550 plus here in Australia. So I suppose that access to train anywhere. I don't like to compare us to a McDonald's, but you go to McDonald's, you know what you got. You know that the standard of equipment, the layout, the expectation of what is a standard that is expected from the franchisees. I love being part of Anytime Fitness, and I love the standards that are set for us. I love that we're required to refurb every 5 years, which means we have to stay at the top of the game. I like there's no sloppiness. The systems are constantly changing. We've just gone digital access, so all our fob accesses are now on phones. Programs are built in for you. You can even look at your phone now and say, there's 20 to 25 people in the gym. I might go up in an hour.
Wow, okay.
So
yeah, right.
cutting edge. I suppose we're an international brand, and a lot of the first concepts start in the US. So things start over there and trickle down, and we're pretty much kind of next cab off the rank after America. So yeah, we've always got access to what's happening, and we're always expected to be like prime at the top.
For sure. I love the fact that you can see who's live in the gym. So I know, like, if I wanted to look at a restaurant on Google, it will say usually busy.
Yes.
The fact, just say, a gentleman's come in and he's signed up and he's a bit intimidated, but he can see there's only 2 people there. I think that's so awesome that he can look at it and go, I can go into that environment and be comfortable because there's not going to be 30 guys around throwing weights around. I can kind of introduce myself to
that would probably be, if I had $1 for every person that signed up said, so what's your busy times? And I go,
have a look.
Well, you don't even have to ask me anymore. You can see it 24/7.
Yeah, right.
So that was a massive feature of the latest changes and upgrades that Anytime have done. So yeah, they're just they're amazing. They're dynamic. They're ahead of the curve, and probably that's why Anytime Fitness is #1 here in Australia. And I wouldn't be part of any other group.
It's lovely to hear. So when you look at it, who is Anytime Fitness built for? Is it the mums and dads? Is it the teens? Is it the people that need to lose weight, people that want to get stronger? What's the demographic, or who's Anytime Fitness suited for?
Well, I think the marketing behind Anytime Fitness is belonging. So I don't think we tap into any one particular age group. I like to think that we're all inclusive. 24-hour means that anyone can come, and you do find that you'll get older people drop in after they know that it's quiet. They like to come up here later in the mornings. So I think we're pretty balanced in terms of who we market to and target. I think we've got a really nice cross section of members. I think that's why I just love what I do, because we're not any one thing. so many things to so many people.
Yeah. So I'd love to talk, obviously, you know, everyone wants to talk about longevity. Everyone wants to look and feel younger. You look 21.
Yeah, thank you.
What is your nutrition like? Because obviously it's the base of everything. What does it, like a full day of eating look like for yourself? Whether you are training or if, you know, you're training for a triathlon or a high rocks, what does a day look like for yourself?
Well, I suppose I'm pretty basic food eater. I'm not a calorie counter. I probably train pretty hard and know the importance of getting a good food in and plenty of it. And I just tend to stick to the same things most days. Pretty simple. Still love to go out and have a schnitty and a schooner on the weekend. But yeah, just Monday to Friday. Yes, very simple meat, vegetables. Lots of protein. Protein shakes and always eat after I train. So I'm not a fanatic when it comes to nutrition. I think I've done it all my life fairly well, so I haven't really. But in terms of then helping others, all of our gyms now have the eVolt scanners, so it's been a nice tool for us to then be able to I suppose give good direction to other people as well, nutritional direction as opposed to meal plans, which I think is a better way, because then people go and figure things out and work out what they eat and put it all together, and I think that's been a real success for us of late. But yeah, I know they've always said 80-20, food's 80, exercise is 20. I suppose I often like to go flip it and go, yeah, get your food, set it, forget it. Yep. Don't let it consume your life. It's just food. It's just your energy. Try not to get too overly passionate and connected to food. Get up here, train, and get your 80% out of your training and your good vibes and the great brain secretion of amazing hormones that happen when you're training. So, I like to keep the food simple, set, forget. And don't fixate on it, because that can send you crazy. And I suppose being a mother of 3 girls, not over pushing food and calories and things, just letting people kind of figure it out when, and I suppose giving them the tools when they're ready, as opposed to forcing it upon people. I think it can get a bit overwhelming when you come into a gym and you're wanting to do stuff and all of a sudden there's food plans and there's training plans, and they just move through it gently with them, and they'll jump on board when they're ready. I suppose in terms of the nutrition, it gets some people are ready to go, some people just need a bit more time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll paint a scenario for you. So we've got Jenny that is about to get her keys to open up her first gym, and we've got you today. You're at dinner. What's the conversation look like? Are you giving advice? Are you just listening to what this aspiring lady has to say? Or what would be, I guess, we'll push in the advice area. What would be the advice that you'd be giving to that
Me
first
from
start?
2012?
You've just got the keys, you're about to open for the first time.
That's a great question. I would probably say that you're in for a very interesting ride. There's going to be some lots of highs and lows, and as my life has been for these last 12 years, stay consistent. Don't diverge too far. Don't be reactive. Always just trust one day after another after the. Keep your ear to the ground in terms of what is where the industry's at. Love your family.
Important,
and keep them close, because working as hard as you do, if your kids and family aren't involved in your life, don't let that slip out of your life. Just enjoy every person that walks in this door with a great attitude, and take on their energy, and it will be an absolute whirlwind of fun.
Beautiful. So Jenny, this is going to be the GD3, just 3 questions to finish us off. So I'll start with the first one. What has been your favourite part about running this Anytime franchise?
Was getting to know Engadine, the community. I lived here for 15, 20 years prior, and I think it was this amazing way of becoming a touch point for a beautiful community and a beautiful families.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. What would be the biggest lesson you've learned since opening up the gym?
Biggest lesson. Trust your decisions. I think I tend to find I always make the right one in the end. Mm-hmm. So I never make anything rash. I just think, just always give yourself a bit of time to make decisions, and go with your gut instinct. It's served me well.
Yeah, it's got you here.
Yeah.
The last question: what's something you're grateful for?
I'm grateful I survived cancer, for one.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
I'm really grateful for my family. I think they've stood by me through everything. I've got a great support group of people, so I think I always know I'm always propped up by amazing people. I've got some incredible friends that I would never have known if not for this gym as well, and just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm 57 years old and I feel like I'm not even slightly at a place where I'm getting old. So life's been a beautiful thing, and I can't imagine it being this wonderful if I wasn't in this space. This has given me everything I really needed in life to complete me.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So, look, I want to say, on behalf of Gym Director, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It was great to hearing about behind the brand for yourself, and look forward to chatting soon.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thanks
Josh.
very much. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.